fashion has this enormous opportunity to do good. It's not like necessarily just used denim. We went to the recycling plant and I was shocked. It was brand new pairs of jeans with their labels still in. And they're just being chucked away. Networking and making connections and meeting people in person is never a waste of time.
Yeah.
And even if you feel depleted in the moment, which everybody does and can do at certain points, they are really important to get your name out there. The founder and the brand, there shouldn't be a separation between the two.
Hey Esther.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for coming in today and chatting. Very
Pleasure.
excited.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no worries. So to start, I'd love you to explain what Fanfare Label is to everyone that doesn't know.
Yeah, of course. So Fanfare Label is a sustainable women's wear brand, predominantly focused on denim and circularity. We focus on recyclability, recycled fabric, and the whole premise really is using up wastage caused by the wider fashion industry and reworking it back into collections so that we're promoting a longevity and just essentially avoiding this disposable fashion mindset.
Amazing. And you're obviously the founder. So
Yes.
How did you get into doing this? How did you found the business? What's the story behind that?
So I used to be in the buying department for various brands before. So I started at Barbour, which was during university. And Barbour was a great company to work with because they focus on heritage and really what I would define as this slow fashion kind of genre of fashion where you design things with care and attention and with longevity in mind. So repairing a Barbour jacket, you buy a Barbour jacket and it's meant to last you a lifetime and they offer repair services. And so I really started my career in fashion in this heritage, cherished clothing, value items brand and really enjoyed it. I then graduated, I moved down to London and I started working for a few high street brands and the culture was quite different. It was all about how quickly we can produce everything and release it as soon as possible. So we were dropping collections on a monthly basis. Everything was just chaotic and there was a lot of pressure on fashion supply chains. So I started the journey really interested in the social impact side of the business, the suppliers we were working with, because it was just a race to the bottom on cost. And when you start looking into sustainability, that is where corners are cut and issues happen on the supply level. And getting products produced so far away that how can you be sure that the right things are going on? So as a buyer, you're responsible for everything that you see in a store. So we take it from sketch to store and manage everything in the process. So we really have a direct impact on what happens in that supply chain. And the more I worked, I realized that I really wanted a positive impact. And fashion has this enormous opportunity to do good. And yeah, it just has such enormous opportunity when done correctly.
Yeah.
And so I started looking into sustainability and then got a job at Vivienne Westwood, the person that has been an advocate for this kind of thing for years.
Incredible.
And yeah, and what you see is what you get. And there I learned about the climate side of fashion. And so I'd had my social impact where I was dealing with suppliers directly and could see it. And then at Vivienne Westwood, I learned more about the environment, the landfill crisis and the wastage.
Yeah.
And then marrying the two together, I just thought, well, I really want to create something that does both.
Yeah, I mean, she's the biggest advocate, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
she's not around now, but the buy less, buy better motto
Exactly.
is just really lived on. And also Barbour, you know, I think they did something at Glastonbury with the whole renting out jackets for Glastonbury.
Yeah.
goers, festival goers. So yeah, really interesting. So why did you pick denim in particular then? Like, how did you get to that decision-making process?
So it wasn't really intentional with denim. I've never worked on denim before. I've always worked in women's wear and formal wear, never denim. So I wouldn't have actively chosen it because it's so technical, so much innovation, so much goes into a pair of jeans. But our denim became really, really popular. And a good quality pair of jeans that's made correctly and isn't... that is durable and just a really good quality pair of jeans. There's no reason why that can't be the Barber jacket, where it can last a lifetime or a really long time. We shouldn't be replacing our denim all the time. It's a really durable fabric, and so much goes into a pair of jeans. We all know it is one of the most unsustainable products, with the chemicals, the water consumption, the supply chain, the workers maybe not having access to health and safety. And so much goes into that pair of jeans. Then to chuck it away at the end, it's unbearable, really, when you think about it. And a good quality pair of jeans you can salvage and you can make things from and you can rescue. And we started upcycling. This skirt I'm wearing now is made of our upcycled denim. We work with a recycling plant in London and create pieces from leftover denim. And it's not like necessarily just used denim. We went to the recycling plant and I was shocked. It was brand new pairs of jeans with the labels still in, and they're just being chucked away. Yeah. And that's not just from a customer or a consumer perspective, it's from a brand. It hasn't sold, let's just throw it all away. Yeah. And we really needed to be using this stuff up. So denim, again, it never goes out of fashion. We're all about slow fashion, seasonless clothing, staple pieces that are meant to last a lifetime and that are relevant from years to come. We're not chasing these micro trends. So a pair of jeans is always in fashion. Yes, it might change between skinny and flare, but they'll always come back around. And we're in this mindset of keeping things in our wardrobe. So it just made sense.
Yeah, so the timelessness of the denim as a fabric, and then also just the impact it really has on making new denim as well. Yeah, really interesting. And so in terms of sourcing and how you're building this then, so did you say the plant has the denim already, or do you go source the denim and then bring it to them, or how's that process?
The recycling plant has all the denim, so they collect around the country all the used denim that is being thrown out, or the new denim that's being thrown out, and we work closely with them and source it and sort it out and work out what denim we can work with and what we can't, and scale it according to grade A, grade B, and work it into the collections from there. So that's for our upcycled clothing. Our denim became really, really popular and still is. Our upcycling is still a massive, massive part of the business. But now we produce our own pair of jeans, because when you're upcycling garments, it's really hard to streamline and make consistent fits. And we all know denim is so hard to fit, like a jean, like on every single body shape. It's just finding a pair of jeans that fits you is one of the hardest things in the wardrobe. So when you add upcycling into that, it just makes it even more trickier. So we started to produce our own pair of jeans to make that sizing consistency. And we get that all produced in Portugal. So our upcycling is all UK based and our new production denim is all in Portugal. And we've worked really hard on the innovation behind that to make sure that it reduces water by 92% compared to a conventional denim. We incorporate recycled denim into the jean as well. So all of those offcuts and denim pieces that can't be reused are taken, broken down and spun into a new fibre, mixing that with organic cotton, and that goes in our jeans as well. So it's still along the same mantra. And then no hazardous chemicals, and really watching the eco-washing and just making sure the process is really, really legit and certified and everything like that.
Yeah, I guess also upcycling takes a long time to do as well from a design perspective, I can imagine. And taking something that's been made already to deconstruct it and then make it again is hard. Like, I've seen that process. So
it really is, and it's really great that you understand that, because a lot of people don't. They just think because it's been reused or it's wastage or it's been made that it should be cheaper. But actually so much more design work it goes into a pair of upcycled.
It's like bespoke. It's like a unique piece.
It's a bespoke piece, exactly. So it's really good. We started doing a few videos just to show exactly how much time goes into producing these one-off pieces. Like one of these skirts, every skirt will look slightly different, but it's a very manual job, taking apart all these different jeans and putting it together.
Yeah, for sure. And that's great that you can tell that narrative on socials. I think it's so good for that. Especially, I feel like people love seeing all that, like
they do.
Upcycling and how I made this skirt and, you know, and the process behind it, telling a bit more of a story. So what really drove you to set that up yourself and really take the plunge into being an entrepreneur in the first place? Because obviously you worked with brands and for brands before. So what was that leap like and why did you do that?
Well, a few reasons. Mainly, I saw that things weren't changing quick enough in the industry. So we have the conversation of change from within, and there's only a certain extent that you can do that. And I definitely tried. And so if I'd found somewhere that I was really, really comfortable working at high street level, that was like, I pitched sustainability 15 years ago to one of the brands that I used to work with, saying, look, we need to start investing in supply chains now. It's going to become really, really relevant, and it's a really important subject. And just not listened to, just because it was just so far out there. When I first started looking into it, it was just no one talked about it. And so I felt like there wasn't brands doing what I wanted to do. And I also felt that sustainable fashion is still quite elitist. It's an expensive product, and not everyone can afford Stella McCartney and Vivienne Westwood, which were kind of the only brands really doing it then. So I wanted to try and create something that was a little bit more accessible. Obviously, sustainability still comes at a price point, and our product is still expensive, but it's not that designer level. And I thought that is there a way to try and bring the cost down a little bit and make sustainability a bit more accessible? So those were a couple of the reasons as to why I wanted to start, and also tackle this landfill issue and just try and reduce as much wastage as possible.
Yeah, fair enough. And how did you get started then? Were you already working at a job whilst you got the brand up and running?
Yes, I was still working at one of the brands I was working for, and then I went full-time on the business just before COVID. And then COVID happened, and so just carried on working throughout that. So yeah, I kind of was a bit fortunate in that I did just go straight in. I did it for a little bit, managing the two, but it was just too difficult. It's one or the other essentially. And so I had to make the decision, which was really scary. But I had to just make the decision, look, if I want to make this work, I need to give it my time.
So did you do that? Did you go all in with it after COVID or during COVID?
I went all in it just before COVID.
Just before, okay. So what was COVID like then with all of that?
Oh, I don't know. It was crazy. It wasn't exactly. I was seeing, I was working constantly and trying to get the business up and running. You cannot predict something like that. No. I think it was just mad. Like, how could I ever think, I'll launch business and then 3 months later, I want to say, was it 3 months later, COVID hit? And it's just like, you don't have a plan. All I could think was, I just need to knuckle down and just work as hard as possible to get this work. Yes, it's not ideal, but let's just keep going. And use that opportunity to create more designs and try and grow our community a bit and just focus on what I did know.
Yeah, because there was a bit of a boom around secondhand kind of sustainable fashion during COVID, wasn't there? Where people were being a bit more conscious of what they had in their wardrobe and what they were clearing out. And did you see that from when you were trying to build the community? Do you think there was a bit of an uptick?
I think for the first time, lockdowns, COVID, the pandemic really highlighted some of the main issues within fashion that I'd been blurting on about for ages. But it was the first time really that people could see that firsthand. We had massive brands cancelling orders and not paying for them, and they hit the headlines. And the factories and the suppliers really, really suffered. And the environmental impact as well. Some really key issues that you couldn't really convey properly just started appearing in people's news feeds. So COVID really sped up the conversation in terms of sustainability, I think, and this idea of slow fashion. And it was really important to do that because we weren't getting anywhere. The industry wasn't changing quick enough, and we needed to bring those conversations to the forefront.
Definitely. We were just talking before about you being a solo founder, but what has been some of the highlights for the business so far for you personally as a founder? What are some of those?
So I think what I always say first is the highlights are our customers, because we wouldn't be here without them. And seeing people invested in the brand and that invest in the brand and wear our products and love our products and are our cheerleaders to keep going, those are the most important people. And I'm really thankful for every customer that sends us a message and that leaves us a review, because it's really great when customers really understand your premise and the fact that we're small. We can't ship things and you get it tomorrow. Like, things take time, and actually building that personal relationship with customers. We upcycle customers' jeans and have one-to-one co-creation time.
That's cool.
And so all of that is the biggest highlight. And then the second highlight is Liberties. So we got our first stockist last year, which was Liberty, and we launched in store in October with a upcycle your own jeans initiative. So we had their Liberty fabrics. We had a big stall in Liberties, and customers could come in, pick their Liberty fabrics that they like, and decorate some jeans and design it how they want to. So we had one-to-one consultations, as well as selling our denim collection as well. So that has been a massive highlight. The team, to pull that off, we were working with architects, and the health and safety in that Tudor building is another level of dedication that you need.
I've heard this is something that comes up. We were talking to someone who's opening a store in Westfield the other day, and Selfridges and all these different types of department stores. It's
crazy.
You don't think about it when you start.
You don't. So even to just get to that point was a massive achievement, but the success of that pop-up and everything that we managed to do in those 3 months leading up to Christmas, hats off to the team, and we did a really great job.
And what's been some of the challenges?
So I think what we were talking about before, being a solo founder, I think that's one of the biggest things. And we mentioned before this is that now I've got a board of directors and I really feel that support, and I'm not making all the decisions myself. But before that, every single problem and every single decision just on my shoulders, and the pressure, and no one saying, "Oh, you're doing a great job, well done, keep going." And just that day-to-day support, I think, is a massive challenge. As founders and entrepreneurs, you have big highs and low lows, and having support is really important. And I think that being a solo founder can be really hard. So I think that that's one of the challenges. Another challenge is probably working out our made-to-order versus stock scenario. Every fashion brand kind of has this. You don't want to sit on a load of stock, but customers want choice. But you're a sustainable brand and you don't want to cause wastage. And so it's like, will customers understand made to order, or do they want things straight away? So the challenge of what does slow fashion mean and what are we going to do, I think has taken us a bit of time to get to as well.
Working out that model and what makes sense for you guys, like as a value system and actually as a business as well. I wanted to ask about as well, because I know you've got investment as well yourselves, and I think sometimes investors want to make as much money as possible, and sometimes that means producing a lot of clothes and creating all those orders and satisfying demand. But how have you navigated that with investors? Because obviously you want to be more of a slow brand, or at least encourage slow consumption patterns, right, as well?
Yeah. No, great question. We have been really lucky with our investors because they're really, I would say all of them, if not most of them, if not all of them, are focused on social impact as well. Profitability, social impact. They wouldn't have invested in us if social impact wasn't a big driver of the business, and they really want to see a brand do something different. So we have a few fashion-focused investors. We have a family office that really cares about upcycling and reusing wastage.
Nice.
We have a few people that have worked in the denim industry before and really want to see it change and bring newness. And then we have some that are not from the fashion industry but really care about the climate emergency, or that really care about doing good and trying to use business as a positive source and to do as good as we can. So there's definitely that social impact driver in our investors.
That's great. And how did you meet your investors? Was it just reaching out to them on LinkedIn? I feel like all entrepreneurs always want to know this.
Yeah.
Unlocking that
so many different things. So I've done a lot of pitch events in my time.
Yeah.
And what I would say is that if you don't so you do a pitch event, and if you could hear nothing from anyone for ages, but that one person that you met at that pitch event last year, and something tends to come out of them. So like I did a pitch event prior to COVID, and then after COVID got a couple of investors from that pitch event a couple of years ago. So every event is still worth it, even if you leave. The amount of events I've left feeling, well,
did actually anything happen? Like, was that a waste of time? Yeah.
Networking and making connections and meeting people in person is never a waste of time.
Yeah.
And even if you feel depleted in the moment, which everybody does and can do at certain points, they are really important to get your name out there. And then from that introduction start, I know someone that would be really interested in this. And so I would just say getting on the ground, pitch events, intros are all the ways. I actually haven't found investors on LinkedIn.
Really?
I've tried the whole messaging, emailing, but I just feel the personal approach has really worked for us, because investors invest in the person. They really want to meet the founder and the vision behind the brand and see what you're about. And so I just feel the best way to get that across is in person.
100%. And the best investors will want to know about you rather than just the business idea, right?
Exactly.
Because they're following you rather than like what you're doing right now. And I think that's always a positive sign. And just moving on from that then. So obviously greenwashing is a really bad problem in the industry. What would you say you would get consumers to look out for when it comes to looking at brands and who they should buy from? Like kind of what warning or I guess like green flags do you think they should look out for?
Yeah. I mean, I would say always check your labels. I think that that's the most important thing. I think when it comes to shopping in general, a more mindful approach needs to be considered. So back to the phrase that you mentioned about Vivienne Westwood, choose well, buy less and make it last. If you choose well, think of an item that you can wear multiple times. It can be styled in loads of different ways so that you can't get bored of it.
Yeah.
Buying less, buying quality over quantity just should be the mantra. And make it last is things like looking after your clothing. Don't make anything... Don't consider anything disposable. Don't throw things away. Just be really mindful about what you're doing with that choice. And so I think, first of all, it's that consideration of a purchase is is this product going to last me a really good amount of time? Is it good quality? Am I better waiting and buying a better quality item that is more expensive but that will stand the test of time?
Yeah.
But then when it comes to actually making the decision, definitely check your labels, check where it's made. Like we make in Portugal. Portugal is great in terms of sustainability, really far ahead. And also check the compositions. So if you have a look at what it's got in it, and make sure, try and avoid synthetic fibers where you can, because synthetic fibers never biodegrade.
Yeah.
So polyesters, viscose, or all of that kind of thing, and just try and pick your natural fabrics. So organic cotton if you can, and linen, and even cotton is a natural fiber. So I would just say natural fibers, check where it's made, and also just pick quality over quantity.
Yeah. And how would you like the industry to change? Like, what change would you like to see in the next, 5 to 10 years?
So I think every kind of advocate for this side of the industry, it comes from regulation. And I cannot say this word, legislation.
Legislation, yeah.
Legislation.
Yeah.
That needs to happen before anything. And really making people accountable and having to check things, because there's so many loopholes. People, it's just such a tricky, complex industry that without the proper rules and regulation, how are we ever going to sort anything? Yeah. So I think the number one is that needs to happen. And then number two, I think that we just need to slow down. We need to think that not regard anything as disposable. So we need to buy the quality over quantity and just ensure that we're not contributing to that broken system of fast fashion. And just, we need those fast fashion companies to become accountable, I think, for their actions.
100%. I feel like they need to be probably forced to do it.
Forced. They won't do it. They've already shown that they haven't got the values in place to do it themselves. They're never going to change themselves. They need to be forced. And
do you think as a business you would want more support, obviously being on the smaller side of how businesses, where you are in the ecosystem, like do you want to see more support for businesses of your size and age? Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, the fashion industry, the retail industry is really struggling at the moment. We've got amazing brands that have unfortunately gone out of business. It's a really difficult time for small business and small brands doing the right thing. That, of course, it definitely needs to be prioritised.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a really tough one. And as you said, the brands that are doing the best work sometimes are the ones that are struggling. So,
exactly.
Yeah. Final question is, what would your advice be to someone setting up their own brand right now?
Okay.
That you wish you knew yourself?
Yeah. So I think that I knew this, but I just didn't want to do it. And it was that the founder and the brand, there shouldn't be a separation between the two. So I was like, I want to create a brand, but I don't want to be the face of the brand. Yeah. I want to just create a company. It's not about me. I didn't want it about me, but actually it is about you, because people buy into people. Yeah. And I avoided it for ages. And I just should have embraced it, I think. So get on social media.
It's hard, isn't it?
And do all those videos you don't want to do.
I know. You really don't think about that. You're starting your own business and then you're like, oh my God, I actually have to be an influencer as well.
Exactly. Whereas I hate doing stuff like that. I really don't like filming myself on camera. And you just need to, again, you've taken a leap to start your business. It's just another leap that you need to take. And I think that being socials are an excellent way to grow a business. And obviously, loads of people are doing great things. And I think that I avoided it for so long that actually I should have just put myself out there.
Yeah, because it normally performs well, right? When the founder's in the content, people love it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Esther. It was such a good conversation.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
No worries. And thanks so much.
Yay.